Today I'm going to paint this lovely scene. This is Salcombe in South Devon. A very nice little coastal town, very beloved of sailors. It's a magical sort of place actually. Lovely winding river out to the sea, a little estuary there, but it's a very nice place to visit actually. Lots of nice cream teas to be had, but I like to watch the sailors. That's my thing, just to see them coming in on the incoming tide sometimes. Fabulous yachts. Well, you see little tiny boats, but really big schooners and sloops and all sorts of things. But anyway, back to the painting. What I like about this, it's just so sunny, so lovely. It's one's ideal weather to be in Devon. It's not always like that, but I think it has some of the best sunshine levels in the UK is down there. But in this picture you can see this lovely sandy beach, so I want to try and get that. And the different changes in the water. You've got the lighter colours here, earthy colours. We've got a little almost turquoise there, so that's going to be tricky to catch that. And the far distant headland there, and as it winds out to the sea there. So much more intense here, you'll see there. And we've got it framed by this sort of pine tree. So I want to get those clouds in as well. Different greens here. And a lot of detail here in the town here. It's probably a little too difficult to get all the detail, but I'll try and suggest the shapes. We'll put some sort of block shape in to suggest town and architecture. There's some colours as well actually I could drop in there, and a little conifers here and pine trees on that little bit of headland projecting into the sky. So let's get on and have a go at that and see what we can do. I'm going to use this Langton's paper, 16 by 12 inch. It's knot, which is not hot press, so it's not terribly smooth. There is a little bit of texture in it, but not too rough. So I'm just going to give it a good wetting. Although I'm not sure. No, I think perhaps I'm not going to do wet on wet, because I want to preserve some of these nice clouds. I think I'm just going to put some different colour, some blues. I think I want to go with a cobalt blue. I've got various palettes today. This is largely Daleroni paints here, but I've got a bit of Sennelier as well, which I'm less familiar with. So slightly different colours, so I shall have a combination of different colours. Whatever takes my mood, I shall have a go with. So let's just dab in a few here. Different colours. There's a big pine tree it comes across here. So I will see some sky holes through there. I want though to have a sort of gentle blue over the headland there, but fairly light. So let's when it's wet, let's make sure I've got some vivid colour. So I've put a little bit of ultramarine there. preserve some little smaller clouds in the distance. Right, got to leave it at that. Coming down over the sea, over the headland there. And those white clouds, I could put a little bit of raw sienna under the underside a little bit. Perhaps a little bit of crimson alizarin as well, just to give me some interest, or a little bit of shadow under some of them. But what I've noticed, I need to take a damp brush now and have a bit of tissue handy. I want to just lift out a little bit there. You'll see later when I darkened up everything else. So I wipe that on my tissue. Just lift a little bit like that, a little bit lighter. Soften up some of these edges on these clouds and shadows. There's a big pine tree going to come across here and obscure most of these clouds, but right, leave it at that for the moment. And we've got over here is a big wooded area, so we'll deal with that in a moment. So I think I'm going to get my squirrel brush for that. Let's see what size I've got. I've got two different squirrel sizes. This one with a nice point there, that's number 6, and this one is a number 4. So I just want to put in a few greens in there to lay in some shape fairly early on. So I'll make up a green mixture with some viridian and some sap. Green, let's get some bit of hookers as well. I want to vary the greens in my headland there. There's a mixture actually of sort of dark bluey greens and the more light spring ones. So let's just, I don't want to get too close to that damp sky. I'll let it bleed a little bit here. This comes down. I think we'll have a little bit of sap there mixed with my hookers. Don't want to use hookers on its own. It's far too vivid. Comes down here. do that. So I don't want it too hard an edge, so I can just use the tip of this brush to soften the edge a little bit. And in this bit here, in the foreground, a bit of the foreground, I'm going to drop a bit of lemony green in there. Much brighter little element there. And we'll darken up as we go. But the dark greens I need as well, just in here. When it's all wet, we're getting some wet on wet effects and sort of diffusion, merges and blends in. That comes dark all along here, most in the shore. Got some really dark greens to put in. Yes, I think this dark needs to come more down here along that shoreline there. As it goes more into the distance, I want to blue it out a little bit. Don't want it too strong. So I'm just going to weaken that a little bit. A little bit of water, a little bit of blue with it. So we can make it a little weaker in the distance. Some of those. Bring that down a little bit, get that line right. It's all woodland along here. And just in front here I've got a nice sandy beach as well. But I think I could step up a little bit my darks in some of the areas. And definitely we need more here. Right, let's leave that for the moment. And also got some dark greens here. So I'll just put a bit of a wash in here. I want to put some of these, try and define some of this lovely vegetation we've got here. There's some nice sort of conifer little shapes coming up here, but I'll put that in with a drier brush a little bit later. So this will just give me the first wash really. It's a mixture of different greens, hooker's green, and some lighter with a little bit of lemony green as well, just to get rid of that mass of white, which you don't always want because it throws your eye a little bit. So we'll put different colours in there later with a stiffer mixture, but I want to just leave that. That's my first wash. And I've got in here, I've got dark conifer as well, so I'm just using a little bit of light green here just to give me a little bit of form. Then I'll go over that with much darker now, because this picture is framed by these vegetation here and a big tree which we've got coming over there, which I'll get in shortly. And it's set against the bright sky, so it does read almost silhouette form. But I want to leave some of the sky there breaking through. We'll just be fairly bold with this initially. I'll put some of the branches in with the stronger mixture later. But let's just go with this for the moment. A big form coming down this way. Right. Okay, maybe I should leave that initially anyway. You can darken up as we go and try and define some of these edges with a finer brush to give me some shape to suggest it's a conifer. Got a little bit of fairly dry brush here, which can help give you some of that conifer spiky effect. So I'm just using a little darker paint, which I have on my palette right now. Use that tip of that squirrel brush. Yes, I need to certainly have some dark, so add just a slight touch of Payne's grey there to give me some darks there. start to suggest some of those boughs. So I'm going to darken up a little bit, slightly thicker mix with thicker paint, less water. So we can some of the bits were really dark, so I must make sure we need that dark and light. We'll just make sure we've got some hint of the bough there. Right, let's leave it for the moment. Now we've got all that water. Is that a good time to do that now? Although I've still got this headland on the right hand side. We haven't really done that, so let's get a sort of fairly pale mix. Let's try and sweep that in there. The shape, headland here, and we've got some conifers and stand of trees standing out there. We've got some variety of trees in our headland as well. Let's just try and give some variety to suggest different stands of trees. And I want to make that stand out against that lighter bit here. So the only way I can do that is to make the adjacent element a lot darker, which is what I'm doing there. I want that lighter here. Still got a little bit of light showing there. Oh yes, I've noticed too, I'm going to change my green. Put a different little bit of blue and a little bit of alizarin in there to try and give me a different shade there of green. This is coming along this. Raise that up so we've got some perspective largely there. Different ones along here, different colours. So let's leave it there. Bring that out a bit. Well, I've got these different colours. I could suggest something here. A little bit of alizarin in that. some spiky elements to some of these, so we'll deal with that a bit later. The odd light bit coming down here. Right, let's get something of a wash, I think we need to do in this bit of the town. Give me some background. That's something to work on as I go. We ought to perhaps put something in the water now. Yes. But I need to preserve along here. Maybe I should do that now. Let's get a very faint. Actually, I've got some Naples yellow in my Daleroni palette, which I'll show you. Can you see that one there? This is cab lemon yellow there, cadmium yellow here, but this is my Naples yellow, very pale creamy colour. You see that? I think that will do for my beach in certain areas. I think we'll just, let's have a go, see what we can do. Don't want to go up to that green at the moment, it's still a bit wet. Don't want it bleeding in. So let's dry off my brush a bit. And lighten it in parts. So we can come down a little bit further because the blue I'm going to put in will probably deal with that. And while I'm at it, I can use some of it here, I think. In the foreground, here's quite a much lighter colour, because the tide is out actually, so I can safely bring a bit down here with a bit of dry brush, bring it right up here, just scrub it in a little bit. Just along the headland there, all this promontory. Our yachts are going to come along there. We could put a little bit of our yellow here. Let's see through this. Right, let's leave that for a moment. Then we need to deal with this blue. Now, let's see, there are so many blues. I've got cerulean, ultramarine, cobalt. I think I'm going to use a little bit of cobalt. I'm going to drop a little bit of green in it as well. So I want a slightly turquoise effect parts of it. Okay, we'll leave that, I think. Actually, we can blend with a dampish brush. I can blend in there a little bit, make a soft edge there. It's still wet, you can see it sort of bleeding in a little bit. And even within that, I need some little marks to suggest the little dimples you get in the sea, on the sand, little lines that you get, the dry sands. Okay, we'll do that for the moment. I'll be putting some boats in here as well. But how are we going to deal with that headland though? I think we've got to bite the bullet and get some little colours in there. These town buildings. Actually, I can use this sort of mid-tone. I don't want it too dark because it is in the distance, but I can use the bit of tonal values, a little bit of red, a little bit of blue here, to try and suggest some of the key which you have here. And the town here. So I'm going to have to put some darks and some lights. So let me get some umber, I think. A little bit of umber. And because there are some different colours, vegetation, little clumps of trees you get, gardens. It says in the distance, so you won't see anything absolute in detail. So you've got an opportunity to let the viewer do some work. Put a few different two different roof shapes in. We need to do that. There are some darker bits. Let's get a different brush now. Something that will give me a little bit of more control, but when I'm at it, I think I can safely vary. Right. Okay, let's get a little different brush. Something with a bit of an edge. What have I got? Yes, you see I've got two little brushes there. Number 9 flat and a 10. So let's go with this one, a number 9, and put a few different colours in there. Some blues and put something, let's make it a bit darker, a bit more colourful. Can ring the changes, some roofs. Put some windows in, but here's a block of apartments here, so I've got to deal with those. They come along here. When I put some windows in, perhaps that will show it a little bit better. So I'm going to get a bit of umber now, mixed with some of that neutral tone, and try and get some hints at the buildings here. Sort of terracotta, hints at some roofs. Put a little bit of yellow or orange. It's purple. Along here was much darker. Along here they have a quay where all the yachtsmen moor up. Really big sailing community here. Let's think now. Could put some. Wonder if I've got that green light enough there. I don't think so. I need to lighten up there. I've got some lemon yellow there to give me some contrast. That's a bit of Sennelier that I've dropped in there. But actually, well, I've got my little brush. I can do some colours here, as we certainly had them. Bit of dry work. Help fill in some of the vegetation here. These flat brushes are quite handy because they've often got a little edge on them, which you can usefully use. You can light that way or this way. I need some darker greens here. And mix some so let's get that spiky orchid plant. They were there. There's several of them here. Need to fill in more here. It's far too light. Colours in the foreground are usually a lot more intense, so got to do that. Making a mixture of different colours. Try and create some different tones. Just to give me a background, then we can go back with a drier mix, with a thicker mix later as we need it. Almost purpley colour they were here. So I'm just going to darken up the tonal value here. Got some ochre as well. Let's get some yellow ochre with into our mix. Yellow ochre is really handy when you can then mix it with a bit of blue. You can get some nice greens. Sort of bluey greens. So you could use a little bit of bluey green here to intensify that now. Right. Yes, that's coming up much darker. This is what we need. So you just add a variety of different colours to your greens. And you will change it amazingly. But now let's go to put a bit more detail in the town, I think, where we're in this area. So let's get a smaller brush and do some detailed work. Yes, I think I've got this little one, which is, can we see that one? Oh, number 2 round. Can you see that? Number 2 round. So I think I can put a little bit of colour and little tiny details, I think, on that shoreline. So let's get some darks. I'm avoiding black. I don't want to put black in because that will make it too dark. But I can, with blues, little purples, umbers, you can add a few features. And this along here, and the got different bits of architecture, and here they've got different little bits of pylons. Actually, they're just in the water here, so the yachtsmen tie up, I suppose, on these big pylons. Let's see, this is a block of flats here. So let's try and get a bit of shape in there. And this is all flats here, houses. Little bits of greenery as well. Use this fine brush to try and give me some of the vegetation. Spiky bits here, I remember. Sort of pine, so I think I ought to put a bit of blue in that. Yes, they were like this. Looking at them now, this, I know what short plant this one was. So I'll vary the colours of my vegetation here, just to suggest it. You can't put every leaf form in, it's just impossible to do that. So what you have to do is try and suggest it. You can pick out a particular architectural shaped leaf form and do that. If you lay that in, the viewer will then fill the rest in from his memory. So to say, you let the observer do some work as well. Almost like a cacti there of some form. I'm just thinking now, out in the estuary there was a little island actually, so let's just off there, let's kind of suggest that. This is time to put in a little boat or two. We need to do that. Yes, let's put, actually I can just see I need to, yes, there's a little landing stage there. Let's connect that up with these mooring pylons. That makes sense. So there's a little bit of detail that we can do there to make it read a little better. Yeah, some big ones down there. And we need to put in a few, we need to put in a yacht or a boat or two, don't we? Some out here. A few moored here in the water as well. So we just put some suggestions of them. So you won't be able to read them to see them exactly, although the closer ones we can put some superstructure on them. There's no reason why we shouldn't do that. But let's just, there's quite a few of them actually. You know. Cabin cruisers, and as I say, this is a really lovely part of the UK to visit. So if you can visit Devon, you'll enjoy yourself, I can assure you. It's a magical place. We put a little few marks in the sea. Get the different shadow area so we don't make it, and some interest. Little sandbars there. And just thinking what else. I think, yes, I need to put the odd mast in, I think. We need to do this for one or two of these yachts here. There's, if I put some white in as well, some gouache for some of the roofs and things. Let's put, gonna leave some, suggest some architectural features. There's a bit of a tower here actually. It's like something anyway. Or tall building anyway, let's go with that. Yes, I could put a few bits of gouache to suggest some buildings. I think we need to do that. So let me get some small brush. Let's see if we can see a nice yacht actually, which I could put in here in my foreground. It's right. Let's go with a, that's a Very severe. Let's put him in here. And put some different colours and structures in here. Let's get a mast on that fellow. What should we do it with? We'll put a bit of gouache, we'll give him a sail. I figure he's just moored up there. It was a bit too strong, his mast. That's better. Dabbed it out with a little bit of tissue. Now let's get some whites in here. Get some highlights in. So I'm going to put a bit of superstructure on these. That's better. We could make this a white yacht as well. But I want to really put a few hints at houses. In the woods, there are a few. You see them. Here we are. Okay. Any of this catching the light? Not the great deal. Let's get and do some more of this. Get some greens in here. Some really stiff mixtures. Help suggest some of the vegetation that you've got here. So I'm using some Viridian here, but I've mixed it with a bit of my Sennelier yellow. So you get some nice intense colours for our foreground, which we need to add a bit of interest and colour to it. Right, let's get something here. So I think I'm shortly going to run out of battery here. So I perhaps should call a halt here. But I hope you've enjoyed coming along on this little painting journey with me from the comfort of your own home. But anyway, there it is. We have the it's Salcombe, which is in Devon, which is in the southern part of England. So where I'm going to go, I think we could put a little sail on this fella. So let's go that. Yes, why not? Maybe we should give him a foresail as well. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Yes, have we got enough beach there? Yeah, I think we have anyway. It's knowing when to stop, which is always an issue when you paint in any medium actually, but especially this, you've got to know when enough is enough, otherwise you overwork it. There are some, one or two binky houses though. Let's lift a bit of that, that's a little too vivid. Let's put a bit of a blue one in as well. So we can see something different. Why not? So let's just take the tape off and see what's what. You have a nice sharp edge then, a nice, looks like it's sort of framed a little bit. Yeah. There you are. There's my finished painting of today. This is Salcombe. Do go and visit if you can. You'll sure to enjoy it. And don't forget to have a nice cream tea. Anyway, if you like what I'm doing, please give me a like and subscribe. So that'll encourage me anyway. So thanks for watching.